Now, I believe Jamie Robertson invented the Piro Wobble many, many years ago. As the story goes, he was on the simulator and trying to learn reverse Piro flips. It wasn't really working out and he was ending up with this weird wobbling thing. He decided it looked pretty good, and that was the invention of the Piro Wobble. Now, I'm going to show you a shortcut to learning this maneuver. However, if you're really struggling with that and if you feel like you're not making progress and you're not actually getting any closer to nailing this maneuver, I'm then going to do a standard breakdown of this maneuver. So we're going to start with some 4-way funnels and 4-point funnels, and we're really going to start from scratch. And then I'll show you some variants as well. So we'll do some climbing versions and circuits. So let's have a look at the quick version first. So at its most basic, the Piro Wobble is effectively a really, really tight funnel like this on the spot, and then you're pirouetting. Now, you're actually pirouetting outwards. So what I mean by that is that the leading edge of the funnel is actually you're pirouetting out of the circle rather than in. So if we move that out into a much wider funnel, so here we're going to do a clockwise funnel, and now we're going to pirouette. And you can see that the leading edge of the model, as the nose goes forward, it goes out of the circle. So I call this a pirouetting outwards funnel. So if you can get this movement, if you can conquer this movement and then bring it in and make it a little bit tighter, so if we make it really tight, bring it round into the center and then try and get that on the spot, you can see that it's still pirouetting out and it's just doing a super, super tight funnel. And this you can play with, you can then move it out again. But this is essentially the fast track to learning how to do a Piro Wobble. You have to do an outward pirouetting Piro funnel. Okay, so if you think that's going to be a little bit too tricky for you to try straight off the bat, we're going to start from the very bottom, the very beginning. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to do 4-way funnels. So this is effectively just funnels and hurricanes where you're doing them in 4 positions. So we're doing them tail down. Then we'll switch 90 degrees and we'll do them nose first. And you're looking to keep them the same space, nice and round. What you can do is you can think of yourself in a box, like there's a square in front of you, and you want to touch each side of the square. And then when you've done the forward moving ones, you can turn to sideways again with nose down. And you want to keep it same size, very constant speed. Just making a really nice round shape. And then the last one is tail first. So 90 degrees, and we'll switch to tail first. And nothing should change. Nice and round. Imagine yourself in a box and you're just lightly touching each of the sides. Right, if we can assume you've done 4-way funnels, now we're going to move on to 4-point funnels. So this is effectively taking what you know how to do the funnels in all 4 orientations, and we're just going to switch between them. So as we go around the funnel, we're just going to switch 90 degrees, go forward, switch another 90, go sideways. And what you're going to find is, although you can do funnels in the 4 orientations really well, it's going to take a while. So you do that 90-degree change, and then you kind of need to figure out where the sticks need to be, and you need to stabilize it. And I think that's what you need to do here. You need to make that 90-degree turn, try and stabilize the funnel. It'll take a lot of work, and get it stable before you then make the next 90-degree switch. And I really, really like this exercise because as you practice it, you can actually feel yourself getting faster. It's amazing. It's just such a lovely exercise to do. And you don't have to limit yourself to the 4 points. You can do them as 2 points as well, nose up to nose down. And also play with the directions. So you can do them turning into the circle, and you can also do them turning out. Really great exercise. And the third and final exercise I call hitting the marks. So when you're learning these, there are 4 marks you want to hit. You start from a nose-in position in front. Then as you go around the circle, you go to tail in on the left. And then on the far side, you want to be back to nose in, and you want to be pirouetting out of the circle. So whatever circle you're doing, whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise, you want to be pirouetting out. So that 4th mark or position is on the right, is going to be tail in, and then back to you, nose in. So we're going to pirouette out of the circle as we go around, and it's going to be tail in, nose in on the far side, then tail in again, and back to nose. And I tend to say this while I'm flying it. So I'll actually go nose, tail, nose, tail. And you want to make this as smooth and as round as possible. And if you get confused or it doesn't feel like it's going round, you can flatten this out. You can completely flatten it out, just make it a regular circle. It doesn't have to be at an angle or a funnel. And you just want to concentrate on hitting those marks absolutely perfectly. Nose, tail, nose, tail. Nose on the far side, tail on the right, back to nose. Now at any point, if you mess this up or you get confused as to where you are, you just slow it down again and you take it from the start position, so in front of yourself, just bring it to nose in and start the pirouetting funnel again. So we'll start from the nose, tail, tail. And then once you get used to seeing these positions and having the sticks in the right places, you can start speeding it up and you can start making it a little bit smaller. So even here you can see I'm doing nose, tail, nose, tail, nose, tail. And that's what will happen. As you get used to it, you'll get faster and faster. And then like we saw there, as I've lost position or I lost where I was in the 4 points, you just stop it, bring it back to center, start nose in, and you can start again. And this will eventually get tighter and tighter until effectively it's what you see here. You are doing a Piro Wobble. And although you may not be able to see it, I'm actually hitting those 4 points in the Piro Wobble. And at any time, you can just bail out of it, slow down, make it big and wide again. And it's good to vary it a little bit. So change the size, change the speed. You'll just learn a lot quicker. So just to cover some of the other orientations of Piro Wobbles, we'll have a look at upright. So we're going to start again with the 4-way circuits, the 4-way funnels. So we'll go nose up, sideways, nose down, and we'll just do a complete funnel. And then once you've done the 4-way funnels, then we can do 4-point funnels. So this is where we're going to do 90-degree turns within the funnels. And you want to do the rotations both ways. So you're going to rotate in and you're going to do the pirouette out as well. And you're going to stabilize before you do each turn. Just makes it a little bit easier. And then once you've got the 4-way funnels and the 4-point funnels, you can move on to hitting the marks. So the 4 marks for upright are you're going to start tail in, and then on the side you're going to be nose, on the far side you're going to be tail in again, nose in, tail in, and those are going to be your 4 marks. And you're going to try and hit those. You're going to be really smooth. You're going to make it try and circular, as round as possible. Nose, tail, nose, tail, nose, tail, nose, tail. And every time you lose it, you just go back to the beginning again, so tail in this orientation, and you're going to try and hit the 4 marks. And then over time, what will happen is you'll start seeing the cues of where you can control it, and it'll just get faster and faster. And you can build up to keeping it on the spot. Right, I think that's quite a lot to work on, so I think I'm not going to include the variations in here. I think I'll put them in a later video. And I'll cover things like the climbing, pitch pumping, looping, and also Piro Wobble circuits. So hopefully, as you've seen in this video, you don't have to be amazingly good at things like Piro funnels, which I find unbelievably difficult. As long as you can get to the point where you can learn those 4 marks and you can hit them reliably in various sizes of circuits, over a very short period, those marks tend to become cues. And what I mean by that is they're actually, as the model hits that position, you automatically put the sticks in the right position for it to carry on. So they start off as marks, but then they become those 4 cues. They actually keep it going. As usual, it'd be great if you could give me some feedback, what you think of this, maybe things that I've left out or skipped, or perhaps ways that you've learned the Piro Wobble. And then if you're having specific issues, we can cover that as well as the variations in a future episode. Until next time.